Throwback cinema.
We're back.
Throwback cinema. Time for a movie review, Adam.
It's time.
We haven't done one in a while.
Yeah, it's been some time, but I think it is time.
You picked this film.
I did. This is a film that I feel like we were eventually going to do. Like, it was inevitable.
Oh,
it's
yes.
kind of inevitable.
We both love this movie. This is on our top lists. It was my number 6 favorite movie of all time.
I can't remember if it was on my list at all. I love this movie, though. Like,
I thought it was.
It might have been. I can't remember. It's been so long. But we're doing Clerks.
Clerks.
The
Kevin Smith's first film.
Classic film. Probably one of the best films he's ever done. But some would argue the only good film he's ever done. But still, great cinematic movie, in my opinion.
I like Kevin Smith a lot. I don't think this is my favorite film from him, but I feel that he's done other good quality movies.
I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith. I talk about it a lot on the podcast.
You listen to his podcast.
I listen to like almost all of his podcasts, honestly. He's to me such an incredibly fascinating individual, and he's a great talker too, I guess would be the best way to describe him. He knows how to talk, and he knows how to hold an audience.
I feel like if you could pick 2 people to have dinner with, or lunch, or just have a conversation, I feel like he'd be one of your 2.
I've said this before,
who
not
would
on the
pick?
podcast. Well, to answer your question about about that, I don't really get celebrity shock. Like, people will come across celebrities like, oh my God, that's fucking Matt Damon, or that's Johnny Depp, or that's Scarlett Johansson, or something like that. And like, oh my God, he's so amazing. Like, I want to go get their autograph. I've never come across a celebrity like that, other than like Brent Spiner and Jonathan Frakes at Comic-Con.
We saw them, yeah.
But even then, I wasn't like, I wanted to go and get their autograph, but they were like charging a whole lot of money for it. And at that point,
the line was like out the door.
And I was like, I don't want to spend that much money to get their autograph. I'm fine with it. I feel like Kevin Smith is one of the few celebrities I would be almost that celebrity shocked with, because I think just his personality and the way he is, and some of the things he likes to make, like movie-wise and direct and everything like that, I feel like that just makes me want to talk to him even more.
If you could have lunch with 2 people living, any people on the planet.
Yes, to answer your question there, one would be definitely Kevin Smith.
I think I know your other one too.
What?
If I would pick for you, I would pick Kevin Smith and Neil deGrasse Tyson.
You know what? That is a very, very good. I wasn't thinking Neil deGrasse Tyson, but you're right. I would absolutely pick. And
do I know you or
dude,
what?
Fucking Degrassi, man. I would absolutely pick Degrassi.
Who were you gonna say if you were thinking him?
I was gonna think about it for a second. Like, I had to think about it like celebrity wise, but yeah, I would absolutely go like Kevin Smith. Just the fascinating life he's lived, and just the inspiration that he can be. And then Neil deGrasse Tyson, just his intelligence and the fact that he's not just a man of science, but he's a funny man of science. He knows how to have fun. He doesn't take it too seriously. So that would absolutely be like, that's a perfect lunch. That's a perfect lunch right there.
I would pick Jimmy Buffett and Mario Lemieux.
I would have picked Bill Nye for you. I would have picked.
I like Bill.
You love Bill Nye.
My decision is Jimmy Buffett and Mario Lemieux.
I understand Jimmy Buffett. Why Mario Lemieux?
I idolized him as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I played hockey. He was like posters on my wall. Like, I would have celebrity shock. Like, that's the one guy I would. Just because I was a huge sports fan, huge hockey fan, huge Pittsburgh Penguin fan, and he was like everything. So Kevin Smith is one of the reasons why this podcast exists. You're the other reason, because you're the one that came to me a year ago, actually like almost 2 years ago, and you said, hey, we should do a podcast. And I knew what podcasts were, but I'd never really been turned on to them, but you kind of turned me on to them a little bit. And you're like, we should do a podcast. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And I told the story at the first episode we ever did, but I took that idea and I kind of ran with it, and we made this show. But part of the other reason was I started listening to Kevin Smith podcast, and the man is, and this is how I usually describe him, the perfect example of taking nothing and turning it into something. He is absolutely the perfect example of that. He took basically nothing. Like, he didn't have any ins in the movie industry. He didn't know the right people. He literally was a
convenience store worker who took nothing and turned it into probably one of the greatest cult classic movies of all time. Like, let's be honest. Like, this movie, even if you don't like Kevin Smith, there's a lot of people that don't like him that will say, I do like Clerks.
How did you discover Kevin Smith's work? What is your first experience with it?
The first experience I had with Kevin Smith's actual work probably was Mallrats. That was my first intro to his work.
It's the first film of his you saw.
Yes. And I've only seen it like once or twice. So my memory is a little vague of the movie. I don't even own it. But it was extremely funny. I found it extremely funny. It wasn't overly done. You could tell it was an indie flick. Still, you could like a lot of his early films. You could tell it was an indie flick, but it just grabbed me. I gravitated toward it. Like,
what's the story? Like, how did you come across it? Like, who'd you watch it with? Like,
friend of the show. Her name is Laura. Group of us got together, and how we used to do back in the day. We would get together at her house or my house or other people's houses. And we just kind of hang out, watch a movie, play Guitar Hero or something like that. We'd hang out doing stuff like that. And we sat down after work one day, and she was like, "Yeah, let's watch Mallrats." I was like, "All right, fine, whatever. You're usually good at picking movies, so let's watch Mallrats." And I watched, and I was like, "This is fucking great. Like, I love this movie. Like, this movie is so good." I'm trying to think.
What year it was it? Do you have any idea? Approximately
before 2012. I want to say 2009, 2010, maybe.
Wow,
it's something like that. That was my it was after high school, but it might have been like a little after college, maybe after I dropped out of college.
2009.
It might have been something like that.
Is when you were introduced to Kevin Smith's work.
I knew of him, but I never really watched too much of his stuff.
I'm surprised.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else. You know what? This might be before that. I just thought of this. It might be for that. Dogma was another one. Dogma was another movie I was introduced. I cannot remember though if it was before or after that. For the life of me, I can't remember if it was before or after Dogma. But there was that. There was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Those are kind of my first introductions, and it was actually a little later on where I watched Clerks for the first time. I'd always known about it, but I'd never actually sat down and watched it after a while. And after a while, I was like, you know what? I know of this movie, but I'm like, let me sit down and watch it. Let me sit down, chill out, and watch this movie.
My first experience with Kevin Smith is in 1998. I was in 8th grade, and it was the summer. It was the summer in between 8th and 9th grade, and I was kind of at a crossroads in my life. I went to a small private Catholic school that was K through 8. And then we had just graduated from 8th grade and that school was over. And it was, do you continue on to the private Catholic school in town that's 9 through 12? Or do you go to the public school that's 9 through 12? Where a lot of my friends stayed in the Catholic school, I went to the public school. So I was leaving like a lot of my friends going to another school. So we hung out like every night that year. And it was a sleepover at my house. I had like a handful of friends over. One of them was Michael Deloney. And we, like I said, we were in 8th grade going into 9th grade. His sister was just graduated high school in 12th grade. She's quite a bit older than us. And he came over and he brought this is 1998, so they were VHS tapes.
Yeah.
He brought 2 tapes with him for us to watch. One of them was the movie Empire Records with Liv Tyler. Great movie. The second one was a movie I'd never heard of called Mallrats. And we actually watched Empire Records first because my other friend said, I've seen that movie. It's hilarious. Let's watch that one. We watched it. And it's a good movie. I like it. But then when it was over, we watched Mallrats next. We were just dying. It was so hilarious. It was just such a great experience. So at that point, I was in love with that style of filmmaking, and I went back and I watched all Clerks. I watched Dogma when Dogma came out because I think Mallrats was out brand new that year. So.
Yeah.
But whenever a new movie came out, I was at the theater seeing it. So.
A lot of Kevin Smith films are talkies, and I say that by saying it's a lot of talking. Basically, he likes to film and write a lot of conversation between people because he once said, write what you know. Like, that's kind of like the phrase that most people say whenever they write stuff, write what you know. And what he wrote was his friends gathered around having dumb conversations about just stupid stuff that we all know about and we all love.
My wife, Kristen, Clerks is her number one favorite movie of all time. And I'm the one that got her turned on to it. When we were first dating, Clerks 2 came out. And I said to her, I'm like, Clerks is one of my favorite films. There's a sequel coming out. I got to go see it. We went and saw it in the movie theater. She was dying. She was laughing hysterically. So she had never even seen the first Clerks. She saw Clerks 2 without seeing Clerks 1. And she was dying, laughing hysterically that she had to watch Clerks and liked it even more.
You can watch Clerks 2 without having seen Clerks 1 and understand. You really understand what's going on in their past, but you understand what's going on in the world. Like, right. You understand it's direct sequel, but you don't really need to see the first one to enjoy the second one.
What would be, if you had to rate an order of Kevin Smith's movies, and I'm talking about movies he wrote, movies he directed, movies he starred in, movies he produced, anything. Any movie that Kevin Smith is associated with, what's the order you would put? Starting at 5.
5, I would say my number 5 would have to be Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
I like that movie.
I'm a big fan of that movie. It was a later movie he did. To be honest with you, I didn't even realize when I first saw it, it was a Kevin Smith flick at first, but I found out later. But it has all the people, not all the people, but it has a lot of the people that he dealt with back in the day, and then newer people that he still deals with today. It had Justin Long.
Brandon St. Randy.
Brandon St. Randy. You want me to pretend I don't like your cock in my mouth?
That's good. That movie was filmed in Pittsburgh.
That's right, it was. Yeah, I do remember that movie. That was like you could plainly tell it was in Pittsburgh. I feel like
Seth Rogen and Kevin Smith should have worked together long before that movie.
They should have.
They're like perfect for each other.
It had Jason Mewes, obviously. Like every single thing that Kevin Smith does, basically Jason Mewes has to be part of. And it had the guy that played Randall. For the life of me, I feel really bad. I can't remember his fucking name.
Anderson.
You know what? I got the IMDb. Hold on a second.
That's something we should have known.
Jeff Anderson. Jeff Anderson. It had Jeff Anderson. It has the camera guy that gets frosted in the middle of the movie. So that'd have to be my number 5. Hilarious movie if you've never seen it. It's on Netflix now, so check it out. Probably my number 4. And I'm going to go bold here. I'm going to say Chasing Amy is probably my number 4. I watched that later on in my life after I've already been a fan of Kevin Smith, and I saw that. I enjoy Chasing Amy. There's a lot of people that criticize it. Oh, Ben Affleck turning a lesbian into straight again, blah, 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 all this other shit like that. It's like, it's a funny love story that is just, it's one of those genuine films. Like, it's more people getting together, having conversations, hanging out and things like that. I absolutely love it. It has one of the best monologues that Silent Bob ever does. Silent Bob is the kind of character
the Amy story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's the kind of character, Silent Bob is a character Kevin Smith plays in pretty much all those films. And he's somebody who never talks unless he's got something really important to say. And it's always like maybe once or twice throughout the entire movie. So that would probably have to be my number 4. Red State, number 3.
I just recently watched that.
I'm a big fan of Red State because it's not a comedy. It's a more serious horror-esque type film. John Goodman, the guy that played the villain in Tusk, his most recent one, the older man. I can't remember his name either. But it's basically about the Westboro Baptist Church without naming them. It's a very cult-like organization like them. Another very good one. We're on number 2. Dogma would probably have to be my number 2 favorite one. Fantastic film. Tons of great actors in it. Like classics, Chris Rock. It's got Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, a lot of big name actors. It's got I cannot believe I'm forgetting the guy's name.
Who?
The guy that just died.
Alan Rickman.
I can't believe I love Alan Rickman so much, and he's
Severus Snape.
He's so great in this movie. He plays the voice of God.
No, he doesn't.
Movie. Yes, he does.
He plays Metatron. He is a seraphim.
He's the voice of God.
He speaks for God. Yes.
Yes, he's the voice of God.
Okay.
He's the voice.
God was Alanis Morissette.
Yeah. Originally, Alanis Morissette was meant to play the Bethany character in that movie, but
Oh, really?
I guess there was like a scheduling conflict or something like that. She couldn't be there for it, so she still wanted to be part of the movie. So Kevin Smith's like, "I'll find you a position." He's like, "Be God. Why don't you be God?" It was something like that. But yeah, Alan Rickman plays Metatron, essentially the voice of God. And my number one Kevin Smith favorite movie has got to be Clerks.
The movie we're going to discuss here in a few moments.
I would throw Clerks 2 in my honorable mentions.
Honorable mention, Clerks
definitely
2?
on my honorable mentions, but Clerks 1 is definitely my favorite.
All right, I'll do my list.
Go ahead.
Clerks 2 is also my honorable mention. It's worth talking about.
Absolutely.
But here comes my list. Number 5, I have Chasing Amy. I think it's very underrated. Definitely some funny parts, but the acting, Joey Lauren Adams and Ben Affleck they have really good chemistry in the movie. Yeah. I really like their back and forth, and it really gets you in the feels sometimes. It really does.
It does, especially when they break up. Spoilers, yeah, it gets you right here in the heartstrings.
Yeah, I just feel when I first watched it when I was younger, I didn't like it as much as I do now that I'm older. But Chasing Amy's my number 5. My number 4 is Dogma. Really like it. I'm Catholic, so is Kevin Smith. I love the way that he tackled our faith. It was done well. Number 3, I have Mallrats. Mallrats is my number 3. It's my first experience with Kevin Smith's work. So great.
I am going to say this about Mallrats. I didn't put it on my list only because it's been so long since I've seen the movie. I've forgotten a lot of stuff about that movie. I need to rewatch it. I don't have it though, and it's not on Netflix. I do. I'll let
you borrow it.
Okay, yeah, I would love to watch it.
I own every one of these. Okay. My number 2 is going to be an interesting pick because Kevin Smith did not direct it. He didn't even write it or star in it or act in it. He produced it. And this is a great film. I love it. And it's Good Will Hunting.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't realize he produced it.
Kevin Smith's the producer of Good Will Hunting, yes. It's such a good movie. I love Good Will Hunting. Gus Van Sant was the director. But
if I were an arguing man, I would say that's kind of a cop-out.
Why?
That was meant to be a play on words for cop-out.
Oh, cop-out. Fun movie, but not worth the list. Yes, Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan.
It's fair enough. Yes, Good Will Hunting. Fair enough. I had no idea that was he was producing.
Yeah,
it, so.
He's the producer of that. So loosely based, I guess. He's involved in it, and it's a great movie. Won Best Picture, didn't it? The year.
I think so. I'd imagine it did.
It was at least nominated.
It would have deserved if it.
My number 1 is Clerks.
Yes,
the movie that we are about to discuss. So that's my list. So. I'm going to read. I have the DVD of Clerks right here sitting in front of me.
We always do this.
I'm going to read the back of the DVD here. It's an interesting little write-up here. If you're in the market for what the Detroit News calls a lively comic adventure, Clerks delivers with wholesale hilarity. It's one wild day in the life of a pair of overworked counter jockeys whose razor-sharp wit and on-the-job antics give a whole new meaning to customer service. Even while braving a non-stop parade of unpredictable shoppers, the Clerks manage to play hockey on the roof, visit a funeral home, and straighten out their offbeat love lives. The boss is nowhere in sight, so you can bet anything and will happen when these guys are left to run the store.
Is that a typo?
What?
At the end? Where it says anything and will happen?
Anything can and will happen.
Oh, okay, you didn't say can. That's why.
Oh.
You skipped that. That's why I thought it was a typo at first.
Can't even read! Sorry.
All right, I'm going to read the IMDb description real quick. As IMDb usually likes to be, they're a lot shorter and more to the point.
That was fun, right? I liked reading that.
It is.
The Detroit News calls a lively comic event. That's funny. Okay.
IMDb is more short and to the point.
Yeah.
A day in the lives of 2 convenience store clerks named Dante and Randall as they annoy customers, discuss movies, and play hockey on the store roof. That's it. Short and to the point.
Both are talking about the hockey scene on the roof.
That's a great scene. Like that is.
I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Like I don't see the big deal of it, but okay.
Yeah, you were saying that the Dante Hicks, which is one of the two main characters. Some can say he's like the main character because he's the first one you see, but I think Dante Hicks and Randall Graves are the two main characters of this particular movie. And you were talking about how Dante, first of all, he goes into work. He's not supposed to be here today, as the joke is played out in that movie.
Yeah, he gets called in to work.
As most of us are sometimes.
At the convenience store, at the quick stop.
Dude's got a hockey game, dude. He's got a hockey game.
When he first says it, you think like, oh, maybe he plays in an adult league or something. But no, Adam. He plays inline hockey with a group of his buddies in like a beer league, and they just like play at the park. Like, so spoiler alert, he has to come and then play on the roof of the quick stop, which is it's a very funny scene. I love the scene, but I'm like, wow, this dude's really up in arms about missing his pickup hockey game with a bunch of his buddies. Like, it's not like it's the Stanley Cup.
I mean, I can kind of see why he's upset about it. He wasn't supposed to work that day. He did the guy a favor, saying he would come in to work for him, but he had to be gone by 12 o'clock so he can go play his hockey game because it's his day off. And then all of a sudden he finds out that the guy that was supposed to come in, the owner, goes out of town and leaves him stranded there after he had already planned. I can see why he's pissed off. But like we talked about before, Dante is the kind of person that just takes everything to the extreme. Like, everything that can go wrong is like the apocalypse for him. Like, it's like a day in hell for Dante.
I mean, yeah, he gets worked up really, really easy. And it's great when you see that Randall is the opposite of that. Randall takes nothing seriously.
No, he's the
Everything
jokester.
is a joke to him. And I love that.
He's sarcastic. He's shitty to the customers. He admires the fact that he can treat the customers like shit and he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't... It's as one of the scenes says where Dante tries to convince Randall, like, listen, we are clerks. It's our responsibility as clerks to take care of the customers. That's our title. That's how life has dictated us right now. And he spits water in the customer's face. He's like, if life dictated the way I work, then I wouldn't be allowed to spit water in the customer's face. But I just did it. So that's kind of the way he is. He's like, he's a rebel, I guess you could say. He's kind of a rebel. What's amazing about this movie is the low budget of this movie. It was about total, I think, added up to about $27,000 to make this movie, and Kevin Smith basically fronted the bill for the whole thing because it's his movie. He directed, he edited, he produced it, all that stuff. He wrote the whole thing.
Wrote it, yeah.
And it's amazing to see like the lengths he went to do this. He had to sell off his comic book collection or most of his rare comic books to pay for it. He had to max out credit cards. You had told me the story that he and Jason Mewes had gotten a car accident, and the settlement from that
insurance company,
from the insurance company, he used that to help pay for the equipment too.
Fascinating.
And that's the reason why the movie's in black and white in the first place, was because it was cheaper to do it that than to do it in color.
That's true, but also on top of that, he actually worked at the Quick Stop. Kevin Smith was a clerk. He worked at that very store, and he would work a long day. He would get up at 6 a.m., start working, and then at 11 o'clock when the store would close, that's when they would start filming inside the store, because they had to film when the store was closed. And because of that, it was filmed at night, fluorescent lighting, doing it black and white. That's why they had the shutters down the whole time. They wrote that cool little thing into the script. Yeah, because you had been looking outside and it's dark all day. And it would have been a continuity error when they go outside to play hockey or drive down the street to go to the funeral home. You'd see that it's light out, and then they come back to the store and it's dark out. So they had to have the shutters closed so you saw that it wasn't dark. Yeah. And the poor lighting in there, because the shutters were closed, black and white was just the way to go. Yeah,
that would also absolutely help it. I don't know if it... I'm not going to say it wouldn't work in color, but I think it's better in black and white almost. Like, if it was in color, I don't know if it'd have the same... Kevin Smith, when he first started writing, he was... I don't want to say poetic, but the tone of the movie, at least, like when they go through the first scene, they have the words and phrases and everything like that as they go about the movie. It seems almost what's the word I want to look for? Fuck. I had it perfect when I was watching this movie. I can't think of it, but it's almost pretentious is the word I want to use. I hate to use that word when I'm talking about Kevin Smith, but the movie when I think you were telling me, you said that the reason why they use the words and everything like that throughout those certain scenes and everything. And I'm going to let you explain that in a second. But when I was first watching it, that's just kind of how it felt to me. Like, it was almost up its own ass a little bit when I was talking about that. A little bit.
It pays homage to Dante's Inferno. That's why Dante is named Dante. That's his character's name from Dante's Inferno. And there's 12 of those little... intersection, and it represents the 12 levels of hell.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. But
it's like vilification, vagary, purgatory, things like that.
Yes.
Harbinger, those kind of phrases. I when I was watching this, I put in my phone. I have these little notes and stuff like that. I put in every word in the definition form just in case we would need them. But it was kind of a waste of time. To be honest with you, but I kind of did that, so I have every single word in their definition in here. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt whenever I would watch. It doesn't really bother me, but
I remember watching it one time with some people, and probably right around the time I watched Mallrats for the first time when I was watching Clerks. I was watching it with Mike and his older sister who got us hooked on them, and I remember asking her, "What's that word mean? What's that word mean? I don't know I can pronounce that word. What's that word mean?" But now I know that it represents Dante's Inferno.
Yeah,
so.
Which is very poetic. It's very poetic of him to do that. One of the things that you can tell how, I don't want to say amateurish because it almost sounds negative, but one of the things you say how rookie-like they were whenever they were making the film. Like, there was one scene I remember when they were doing a close-up of Jay and Silent Bob. They were outside. They were talking to, I think, the Scott Mosier character. Scott Mosier, he plays a few different characters in the movie. He's one of Kevin Smith's oldest friends, and he's a producer on a lot of his films. You can see in the window as they're focusing in and stuff like that, you can see the camera and stuff like that, and whoever's using the camera, like, it's fine. Like, it doesn't really bother me, but it's one of those things just like you can kind of tell that these guys were just regular people making a movie. Like, they didn't know what they were doing. They had no training. They didn't go to school for it. These are just guys that got together and was like, Kevin Smith wants to make this movie. Like, we're all friends. Like, and some are just people he cast for. Let's make the movie.
I'll expand on that. I will say the acting in the movie isn't great. It's subpar.
No.
I mean, other than Dante and Randall, the two main characters, Jay and Silent Bob doesn't speak. Jay just funny lines.
Yeah.
But the two women,
Veronica and Caitlin.
Boy, the actresses that play them, and I understand this movie was cast by Kevin Smith's friends, people he knew that lived in Jersey, but Veronica and Caitlin were not good characters.
I'll be honest, I thought that about Caitlin. Veronica, I kind of bought it a little bit. She kind of had that, like, at the end of the movie when she breaks up with Dante and she has that passionate speech about him and stuff like that, that I kind of felt a little bit. I kind of felt like her anger towards him and how she felt towards him, at least at the end of that whole thing. I don't know about the rest of the movie, but towards the end, I kind of bought it. Caitlin, definitely not. Caitlin was absolutely phoning it in, but it's fine because these, like I said, these are all not professionals. These are people that really haven't done, if they've done any acting, it's like high school play. Like, that's probably the best amount of acting a lot of these people have done. Jason Mewes, on the other hand, he was extremely nervous throughout this movie. Like, Kevin Smith will talk about that, and there's a lot of trivia things you can read about that. Like, you remember the dance scene with Jay and Silent Bob when they're playing the music and they were dancing outside? Apparently, the way they were able to do that, because Jason Mewes was so nervous about being on camera and doing something stupid like that, they had to set up the camera, and everybody had to go inside the video store. So it was just Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes outside in front of the camera, and that's how they had to do it because he was too nervous to do it.
The cinematography, the camera shots of this movie aren't that great.
No,
I mean, there's no real. I mean, it's early on in his career, and he still gets a lot of flack for that, even in his present day movies. I mean, it's really vanilla with here's a scene playing out, and we're shooting it in a regular box view instead of like, you know, some films out there get real unique with like different camera angles.
What's funny about that is he talks about that in a lot of podcasts. Like he's been invited a few times to direct some Flash episodes, and they love him. They want him to come back all the time because they love him doing it. But he's just directing. He's used to do in most of his movies. He's used to doing the editorial work and not just directing the actors. And these are all professionals he's working with who've done it for years. And he was talking about doing this with the camera. And this one guy was like, well, we could do that. Or we could do this. And it was like one of those cinematic like angles you're talking about. And Kevin's just like, holy shit, I didn't even know we could fucking do that. Like that's fucking, that's professional shit. Yeah. Like that's professional. Like these fuckers know what they're doing and shit.
Yeah, he doesn't. And I get it, especially with Clerks, one of his younger movies. But even you see it currently, a lot of his cinematography is watching something play out.
Yeah.
Like, he's filming it as you would be sitting in front of the TV.
It'd be like if we set up a camera just right in front of us and nobody was on the other side manning it and we just sat here and we're just talking. That's kind of how a lot of his movies play out. That's how it would be.
I like to see a little more. I like to see unique things. I like to see up views. I like to see fish eyes. I like to see stuff like that.
I'll be honest with you, that helps, and that's very, very helpful for it. With a Kevin Smith flick, though, for most of his movies, since, as I said before, they're basically all talkies, all conversations, he's more of a writer. He likes to think of himself as more of a writer than a director.
Yes.
But
he's a writer who directs movies.
He's focused, basically, yeah.
He's
focused more on conversation. He's focused more on the dialogue.
The banter.
The
banter of his film, the back and forth between characters. Like, it's Seinfeld-esque. You can sit here and talk about nothing, and your audience is riveted.
Yes.
I mean, as a kid, I never really liked Seinfeld. I never really got it. Now I really like Seinfeld. There's nothing. The show's about nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing. This movie, there's no plot. There was no plot to Clerks. Nothing gets accomplished. It's just the day in the life of two guys who have a shitty job and a shitty life.
Yeah.
And this is how they get through their day. And this is what they fucking talk about. It's hilarious. The humor, the comedy, A+.
We made a reference a few episodes ago to one of their conversations they were in the car with the sucking your own dick reference conversation. Kind of, I asked you about sucking your own dick if you ever did it. That was kind of a joke they did in Clerks. That was one of the Randall and Dante scenes where they were banned when they were going to the funeral, and Randall was telling about his cousin that tried to suck his own dick and broke his neck or whatever, and they found him balls deep with his dick in his mouth or whatever.
He actually got there. Good for him.
Yeah. The classic, probably one of the most classic banters is a conversation I think every nerd has had in their life, is the conversation about the Death Star and the contractors that had to work on it.
They're like on the cutting edge of putting something. We've all talked about shit like that. The little things in movies that just make us wonder, but they put it in a movie. They put talking about that in a movie. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I imagine Randall and Dante are like the original podcasters. Like if they just took what they would talk about every day and recorded it and threw it on a podcast, they'd be like on Howard Stern. Like if they existed in real life, they'd be like on the level of Howard Stern. Like that's what they did. They just talked about random shit that you would normally talk about in a podcast. And that's what they do. That's
why Kevin Smith's podcasts are so successful.
They are. That's how he makes most of his living.
The character of Randall was written by Kevin Smith. He wanted to play that role himself.
He wanted to play it himself, but I think he said he didn't think he could pull it off or whatever. So he got the other guy,
Jeff
Anderson to play it. What I love a lot about Kevin Smith movies are he reuses the same characters in all his movies. Like you'll see,
he does that a lot.
He doesn't use every single character, but he'll reuse. So it means these movies pretty much all exist in the same universe, like in the real world, and they're just the same people used over and over again.
He refers to characters. I don't know if you know, like, this is a fun little fact. The funeral they go to in Clerks, Julie Dwyer.
Yeah.
She's talked about in Mallrats.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be on the game show and she died. So those movies honestly are happening like simultaneously in the same town in New Jersey. The only characters are Jay and Silent Bob are somehow in both. Somehow they're in both places at the same time. But other than that, there's different characters in different places.
Jay and Silent Bob might be the most well-known characters of those movies because they get around to every single other movie he does. They had their own freaking movie. He wrote them their own movie.
They did, but the movies, like, neither one of us put Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back in our top 5.
It was good, but
it was if you take it for what it is.
Yes.
It was hey fans.
It was meant
to be
this is
for you fans.
A ridiculous grandstand out there comedy movie.
It makes no sense. It's not smart. It was the first step into where Kevin Smith is today with his films.
One of my favorite scenes in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back has to be the monologue Jay does about the chimp and the Planet of the Apes references and stuff like that. Like that is so that has to be one of my favorite moments. That has to be one of my favorite Jay and Silent Bob moments.
But other than that film, they're never the stars. They're never the leads. Jay and Silent Bob are always secondary characters. And I like them as secondary characters. I think that's where they should be.
They're absolutely secondary characters. They should be secondary characters. But if you're going to do a Kevin Smith comedy, I almost think it wouldn't feel right without Jay and Silent Bob.
Well, he doesn't do them anymore. Those characters have been retired, correct?
Well, he's going to do Clerks 3.
Right.
And he's going to do Mallrats as a TV series.
Are they in it? Are those characters in it?
I feel like they have to be.
I would love them to be.
I feel like they have to be. Like I feel like it wouldn't ruin the movie if they weren't in it, obviously, but I feel like those are the kind of characters that when there's a serious moment going on in Clerks or Clerks 2 or any of those other movies, like if they're few and far between, but if there's a serious moment, a lot of times he'll just throw Jay in there with some some stupid fucking like dumb thing for him to say or something like that. It's pretty funny and it kind of lightens up the scene.
They weren't in Zack and Mary Make a Porno. They weren't in Red State.
No.
I didn't see Tusk or Yoga Hosers, but I don't think they're in those either.
Well, the three movies you just named, they weren't comedies, though. Like, Jay and Silent Bob was more of a comedic team.
Zack and Mary was a comedy.
It's a comedy. No, they weren't in there, but
Jason Mewes played a different character.
He played a different character.
Lester the
Justin
Molester.
Long was in it. Lester the Molester. Cockenstein. That's the coolest fucking porn name ever. I can have a porn name? My name would be Dave Matheson. Something like that. No. It seems like Zack and Miri Make a Porno looks different the way it's filmed, that it almost feels like it exists outside the View Askew universe. Almost. Like that's kind of how I feel. It looks the way it's filmed different. It seems more professionally done.
All
it doesn't
the
look
stories take place in New Jersey. Or Canada. The later ones are all in Canada.
Yeah.
Not sure where Red State takes place. Somewhere in the South, in a
I would
red
imagine.
state.
I would imagine, yeah.
In a red southern state. But all the movies take place in New Jersey, except for Zack and Miri Make a Porno takes place in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of them are now.
Maybe that's why it feels differently, but just the filming of it, it felt more professional, obviously, and there was a lot more money put in there.
Dogma is part in New Jersey. The other part they're in Illinois.
Yeah. Maybe the reason why Jay and Silent Bob weren't in it, that's why it didn't feel like a Kevin Smith film. So it was a funny film and it was a great movie, but maybe that's the reason why it almost didn't feel like a Kevin Smith movie.
Dogma, they had a big role in Dogma.
Yeah, they were prophets.
They weren't the lead characters, but that was probably their biggest role in any film.
Yeah.
Other than Jay and Silent Bob, where they were the stars.
So usually whenever we do these throwback cinemas, oftentimes in the past, I like to give a play-by-play, kind of how the movie goes, scene by scene by scene, let's tell the story. I'm trying to avoid that more often. I'm trying to be more like, I guess, a movie reviewer would be, where we talk about the movie itself, the characters, things like that. And it's really hard.
It's especially hard to do this movie because
Exactly.
it's so random.
Exactly. There's so much stuff that goes on. I made notes on my phone with this movie, and there's so many notes on here just of things that happen. I feel like I can't talk about one without referencing back to another almost. Like it's difficult to do, but
That's all right, because I feel that the movies that we choose for Throwback Cinema, they're all classics anyway.
yeah.
So the people who are listening to this podcast, you should have seen these movies. If you haven't, shame on you, because these are classic films. Go watch them.
One of the things I do like about the relationship between Randall and Dante themselves in Clerks and in Clerks 2 is Dante is the complaining character, the character that represents everything we hate about our lives. Oh my God, this shit's going so wrong. This is wrong with my life. Why is this so wrong with my life? Randall is the conduit that focuses him. He's the person that brings Dante back and saying, you know what, fuck you, dude. Like, shut the fuck up. Your life is not as miserable as you make it out to be. Like, it's not that big of a fucking deal. You hate your job, fucking quit your job. There are plenty of other jobs out there. Like, you hate this about your life, like, shut the fuck up. Like,
he said, we push buttons. A trained chimp can do this job.
yeah, exactly. Like, he has that moment at the end of the Clerks, and he even has that same moment at the end of Clerks 2 when Dante's once again complaining about his life, and Randall has to sit there and say, dude, shut the fuck up. Like what we should be doing is this. Like, this is what we need to do. Or if you hate this about your life, then fucking change this. Like, stop complaining. Like, your life, basically saying your life isn't that bad. You have the opportunity to do whatever you want with your fucking life. Shut up.
And I know we're supposed to be talking about Clerks, but we've been kind of spiraling off and talking about Kevin Smith in general and his work in general. And in Clerks, the story is the day in the life of the two guys. Their shitty life at work.
Yeah.
Clerks 2, I feel that the main premise, Clerks 2 is more of a love story. And it's a love story between best friends.
It is.
Between Dante and Randall. It is.
Yeah, Randall is not... Basically, in Clerks 2, Dante is supposed to be marrying this girl and moving away to another state and leaving Randall. They're basically, Dante and Randall are like brothers. They're like brothers, and Randall sees it as a betrayal. Like, he even says later on in the movie of Clerks 2, if I'd known that this was going to happen, like, they had this big falling out. He's like, if I'd known this shit was going to happen, I'd never even mess with your ass but years ago when I first met you. Mm-hmm. Like he's emotional, but he's actually emotional about it because he knows that these two are basically like fucking thick and thin. Like, they belong together. Like, they are, you know, no homo, but they are basically hetero life mates. Like, that's what they are. Like, they essentially complete each other. Like, Dante complains and Randall makes quirky jokes and they have banter back and forth and they just fit together. Like, like Kevin Smith wrote them as almost the perfect duo. Like, they could be the odd couple is what they could be.
And they, like you said, Dante is just, he gets so pissed off so easy at the drop of a pin. He's just so high strung. And Randall is the opposite of that. He centers him almost.
Yeah.
He keeps it real. He's like, don't fucking worry about it. Like, he doesn't worry about anything. They're perfect for each other.
They are.
They're perfect.
One of the characters that I love, and I didn't know how much I loved him until I rewatched it before we did this Throwback Cinema. I really enjoyed Scott Mosier's the main character, I guess you could say he plays in there. He's basically, I can't remember the name of the guy.
Beautiful man.
Yeah, he's basically
Willem Snowball.
Yeah, he's basically the really high friend who doesn't really know what's going on most of the time. He just makes like weird, stupid comments and just kind of wanders around. Like, there's a scene where Caitlin is traumatized by a certain incident and she has to be put in an ambulance with a dead body, essentially. And he just kind of wanders into the ambulance when nobody's looking and just sits in there like nothing's going, like it's a park bench. Like, it's just a public bench you can sit down on, and they close the door and they drive away. Like, it's fucking hilarious. Like, it's great. Scott, there's one question I want to ask you, and as I was watching the movie, I feel like it's not a question that everybody probably thinks of, but it's a question I thought of.
You asking me if I ever tried to suck my own dick again?
No.
No, different question?
No, different question.
Okay.
Caitlin or Veronica? Caitlin or Veronica, if you had to choose.
Kill, marry, or fuck? What What about them?
Assuming you're not married, obviously you're a single man. If you had to pick one, which one would it be?
One to do what?
To be with, to fuck.
Bang or marry or spend the rest of your life with.
Basically it's the conundrum that Dante is under. Which one does he want to be with? Which one does he want to be in a relationship with? If you had to make that decision, if you were stuck there, I
think the movie pretty much finds that out for us.
It does, but I want to know your
I think Caitlin Bree was the more attractive. She admits that she's a freaking whore.
Yeah.
So that's the girl that he lusts for. But Veronica, what's the quote that Silent Bob says? There's a million fine-looking women in the world, but not all of them bring lasagna to you at work.
Yeah.
Most of them just cheat on you.
Yeah.
That sells it right there. That's the answer.
Which is the perfect Silent Bob character. Every movie he's in, usually he only gets like one or two lines or one or two conversations, and they always have to be something worthwhile. They always have to be something meaningful. Chasing Amy, Clerks. I think he did it in Clerks too as well. All of them, Dogma, everything. Like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Even at the end, I mean, it's not emotionally centered, but it's very smart what he talks about. But
the back of the car said, "Critters for Hollywood, you dumb fuck." I mean, he doesn't say much, but it's memorable.
It is, absolutely. I think one of the most funniest jokes is the 37 dicks joke. Yeah. Let's be honest, that is the funniest joke.
My girlfriend sucked 36 dick in a row?
I mean, it's like I said, this movie is quotable. If you've seen this movie, if you're one of those fans of Kevin Smith like Scott and I are, then we'll quote something, we'll say something about it, and we'll instantly know what we're talking about, and we'll just laugh about it because it's just that funny.
So back when I was in high school, I was gonna go, but something came up. There was like a couple of us, really good friends that were just obsessed with this film, and I've always wanted to do this, and I missed my opportunity to do it, and I'd still like to cross off my bucket list. But they took a pilgrimage to New Jersey. They went to Red Bank, New Jersey, and Leonardo, New Jersey, where this film, where all the movies were filmed.
Really?
And they actually went to the Quick Stop. And they went to, what's it called? RNS video?
It's something like that.
Yeah. They're still there. They operate their side. I believe Kevin Smith owns them now. I think I could be wrong.
He owns the store. He doesn't own them.
He owns the store.
Yeah, not them.
Them who?
I thought you were talking about the people that originally owned it.
What?
When you said them, I thought
the two stores that are side by side.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were talking about he owned them as in the people that originally. Never mind.
You can't own somebody, Adam.
That's what
slavery.
I was going to say. That's
slavery.
That's what I was correcting you.
I believe he owns the Quick Stop and the video store now.
Yeah.
But my friends went there and they went into the Quick Stop and they said it's really just like any other convenience store you've ever been into in your life. It's set up the same way. And they said they went in. It's funny because they went into the video store and looked around, and they said it had a huge porn section. It was the main part of it. Was the adult video section. But I wish I could have gone with them. That was something I regret.
That would be a story to talk about. Definitely. Like, I would love to go. I would love to go see there. Like, the store is RST video, and it stands for apparently Rajiv, Sarla, and Tarla I'm butchering the pronunciation, obviously. And apparently the first names of the son, mother, and father team who owned the Quick Stop in those places. That's what it stood for, apparently. So that's clever.
I just love this movie. Yeah. I do. It's number 6 on my list, all-time favorite films, and it's not a perfectly done movie. There's definite mistakes, from a perfectly done movie. But I just love it. The humor and the banter and the writing of this movie make up for the other shortcomings of it, and it's great. It's great. So, do you want to rate this movie, Adam?
Yeah, I can rate this movie. Are we doing a 1 out of 5?
1 out of 5, just like we do for the beer of the show on our regular shows.
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 4. The writing is great, in my opinion. The reason why it loses the point is, like we said, the cinematography is very amateurish because this is his first film. These are not people that are experienced in doing any of this stuff. The acting, very amateurish. Not that we could do any better, obviously, but we have to judge it based on this. Like we said, people that have never really done this before, unless they've done, a school play or anything. But for what he had to work with, and for what he did, it gives it a 4 out of 5. The writing, the hard work he did, everything like that. The constraints he had, where he could only film at night and everything. I think he wrote the whole shutter scene, and it works. It works. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be boring, like I've been the past few throwback cinemas we've done, and I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5.
Really?
Yes, I am, because if you're going to be one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time, you're going to have a 5. I mean, if you're in the top 10, you get a 5 out of 5. That's how it works. It has mistakes in it, but it's all made up for in my nostalgia for it. Just reminds me of when I was young, back in the 90s, when I watched this movie. It brings a tear to my eye to think about this and how much I love Kevin Smith and all his work. I didn't put him in my people I'd like to have lunch with, Adam, like you did, but
yeah,
I would love to meet the guy. He goes to a lot of Comic-Cons. Maybe we'll run into him at a Comic-Con sometime.
It'd be nice.
I'd like to shake his hand and tell him what a huge fan I am. And
he would love it. He's one of those celebrities that says, if you guys want to come up to me and talk to me, fucking come up to me and talk to me. Like, I'm all for it. Like, I love hearing how people are big fans of me and stuff.
Chances are, though, we'd have to see him somewhere not a Comic-Con, because those are his people. Like, everybody there would want a piece of him. So
yeah, pretty much. I mean, he would be most likely surrounded by people.
Yeah,
absolutely. I would. He's one of those celebrities I would wait in line to meet. I would wait in line to meet him. That's what I would do. All right, Scott. I don't think we have anything else more to say about this movie.
No, pretty much nails it. So, well, what can we end on? Let's see.
I mean, we always end with our social media accounts. We head to Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. You guys head over there, like our page. Search For Your Distraction at Podcast FYD for Twitter. Like our page and follow us. And if you guys have a throwback cinema you'd like us to talk about and review, let us know. Follow us Periscope. We're also part of the Podern family on Twitter. Like their page, follow them. They got a lot of great podcasts. They always retweet our stuff. So we always end with that kind of stuff. Scott, how would you like to end this podcast?
My love will hit you like a truck, Berserker. Would you like some making fuck, Berserker? My love for you is like ticking clock, Berserker. Would you like to suck my cock, Berserker?
That's beautiful, man.